Hanhart has just released a brand new watch. It's called Fly Navy Aerosphere. Now this watch has some design elements from Tudor Pelagos, as well as the specifications not dissimilar to Omega's Seamaster 300 diver. And as far as I'm concerned, it's probably aiming at that market as an affordable and a very well made alternative. So I think they've managed to create a really solid, comfortable and really well priced watch in a competitive market in today's watch world. Now when I hear the words Fly, Navy or Aerosphere, the first thing that pops into my mind is robust, reliable, legible and a very versatile pilot's watch. And it's exactly what I've got here in my hands, only a little bit more. Because firstly, this watch offers 300 meters of water resistance and a helium escape valve. So in that department, it's definitely competing against a Tudor Pelagos or a Seamaster 300. But I tell you what, it comes in at 2,400 bucks. That's about 1,500 USD. From a manufacturer with a history dating back to 1882. That's pretty impressive. So without further ado, let's check out this brand new offering from Hanhart, the Fly Navy Aerosphere. Now Hanhart have been around since 1882, and for those who are unfamiliar with the brand Hanhart, one of the watches that comes to mind is the 417 ES. It's the watch that Steve McQueen sported on his wrist, and by choice, it wasn't a sponsored deal. Now when I first saw this watch appear on Define Watches website, I was on the phone with Peter. I said, mate, I've got to get this watch, can you send it down? And Peter was kind enough to lend this watch out, so I want to give him a bit of a shout out. Many of my viewers who are watching this actually have bought watches from Define, so you know Peter, he doesn't need any introduction. The guy's a gentleman. I actually purchased my Dornbluth on a recent trip up to Noosa with my wife, and I couldn't be happier. Nonetheless, I'll leave a link in the description section of this video. Feel free to check out this watch or any of their superb German timepieces. Now the main experience I've had with this watch on the wrist has been comfort. All week I've had this on the wrist, and I've got to tell you that case height of 12.5 accompanied by a 42mm diameter, it's been stable, it's been legible, and as I mentioned, very similar specs to an Omega Seamaster or Tudor Pelagos. Now being tool specific, that crown is a 6.8mm signed screw down crown. The watch offers 300 meters of water resistance as well as a helium escape valve for saturation diving. And the total weight on the supplier's bracelet, sized to my 18cm wrist, I measure exactly 167 grams. Now the choice of bracelet is very interesting here. As you can see, it's a H-link. The watch wears really well on the wrist. There's a beautiful taper from 20 to 16 and it's been extremely comfortable all week. Now looking at that bracelet, you can see that it drops straight down. It's got good articulation, screw pins, quick release end links, and looking closely at that clasp, it offers 3 micro adjustments for fine tuning, as well as a very solid and very well machined diver's extension. And I've got a little bit to speak about that in my gripe section. But moving on, the bezel on this watch has been a real eye-opener. It's a 60-click unidirectional, extremely comfortable. There's a ceramic insert which is lume filled, and the action is superb. It's refined, it's delicate, but also solid, if that makes sense. I think Hanhart has done a really good job here on that bezel. Now looking closely at that dial and handset, you can see the Tudor Pelagos design elements, because that chapter ring features cutouts very similar to the Pelagos. And that handset is a very strong design element, which works amazingly well. In fact, I was surprised at just how easy it is to read this watch the first minute I put it on my wrist. And for a pilot's watch or diver's watch, the prerequisite is legibility. And this one seems to have it in spades. Now if you have a close look at that second hand, it shows the trident of Poseidon, the god of the sea, according to Greek mythology. And that same trident can also be found on the coat of arms of the Naval Aviation Squadron in Germany. Now I'm probably going to botch up the name here guys, it's called Marinefeldjägergeschwader. And the fact of the matter is that this watch is limited to 300 pieces. So the case back comes in 2 different designs. 150 of the units are going to have the MFG3, the Graf Zeppelin, or the MFG5 coat of arms. So that's another nice touch that's tool specific to the Naval Aviation Squadron in Germany. I like that. The fact that it's limited I don't, but again, you can't have it all. Now behind that caseback is the Sellita SW200. A solid, reliable workhorse, 28,800 vibrations per hour, around 38 hours, and this particular one I have in my hand has been running at exactly +3 seconds per day. So no issues in that department. Now if I have a close look at that crystal on this watch, it's a double dome sapphire. And for me, the legibility and the clarity that this crystal has offered has been above reproach. It's got excellent anti-reflective coating. It's a very clear and clean experience. I think they've done the right choice here and added the right glass in accentuating that dial and the legibility of that handset. Now, speaking of that handset and dial, the watch offers Swiss Superluminova. Very easy to differentiate which is the hour and which is the minute hand, and that triangle leads the way to the top, which corresponds with the lume markings on that bezel. So again, very tool specific and very nicely done. I really like that. And if you have a look at the side profile of the case, you can see that helium escape valve is tucked away nicely. It's unobtrusive, not in the way. As for the finishing of the case, it's more geared towards a specific tool rather than finesse. So if you're looking for a bling monster or something that's in your face, well, you're not going to find it here. But the finishing itself is pretty much on par according to its price point. And lastly, before I get onto any room for improvement or gripes, the price. The watch comes in at $2,400 on a textile strap. That's around $1,550 USD. And on the bracelet, as I've experienced here throughout the week, it comes in at $2,795, which is around $1,800 on the US market. So in saying all that, I've really had a good experience on the wrist with this watch all week. What are my gripes? What do I feel that this watch can benefit from improvement wise? And number one for me, I think we've all come to expect an on-the-fly adjustment clasp. This one offers a press clasp with 3 micro adjustments. It does the job. It also has that diver's extension, as you can see, which I think for someone in the Navy, for someone using this as a specific tool, that's great. For someone like us enthusiasts, we probably would have preferred an on-the-fly adjustment clasp omitting that diver's extension. It just would have made more sense. In practical terms, I don't see many of us going diving with watches like these, albeit they are extremely capable. That's what they're designed for. So versatility-wise, the watch is very good. It just would have been a little bit more functional with a nice, more practical alternative on that clasp. Secondly, the fact that the watch is limited to 300 pieces is a bit of a drawback here for me. The way I see it, it's a first in best dressed basis, and the issue for me is it's actually a nice watch. It's actually a really well made, comfortable watch at a really great price that's easily competing with the likes of Pelagos and Seamaster, but on a budget from a manufacturer who's been around since late 1800s. So honestly guys, that's really my 2 main gripes on this watch. The rest of it has been a real delight on the wrist. So I'm really glad I got hands on with this watch. Just a testament to what can be made from a manufacturer like Hanhart, who's been around for a very long time. They can produce watches that are expensive and tool specific, but they can also demonstrate some entry level prices, which I think this is coming in at a great price for a watch offering these features. So hit me up in the comments guys, let me know what you think of this watch. Once again, a big thank you to Peter from Define Watches. Get on his website, check out their watches. He's got some nice German beauties there. Just recently when I visited his shop, it was like walking into a candy store for watch enthusiasts. That's the best way I can describe it. So thanks again for watching. Enjoy that watch that's currently on your wrist. Enjoy the rest of the day or evening, whichever part of the world you're in. Stay well and safe, and we'll see you in the next one.